When you first launch Visual Studio, you get the Start page. To create your first application, we need to look at the menu and look at File, New, Project. You can also do this with Control-Shift-N. I'll use File, New, Project. You get the New Project dialog box, and there are several choices you need to make here. First of all, you need to select Visual C#. If this is your first time using Visual Studio, it may be defaulting to something else. Once you've selected Visual C#, most likely that's going to be selected. In the Templates area, you need to select a Windows Form application. Down below there are three parts. The first one is the project name, and let's call it Sample Project. Notice that when I type in the name, I also get the solution name, and it is the same thing. So what I'm going to do, so that you can see the difference between the two, I'm going to click an entry point there, and I'm going to change the word project down here to solution, so that you'll see where the project and the solution go. Then you want to browse to where you want to put this. Otherwise it's going to go into a default location, and you may not remember where that is. So use the browse, find where you want to put it. I have a certain way I put it on my computer, and you can see I have quite a long string here. Finally, we want to make sure that this box is checked, create a directory for the solution. And when you do that, you're ready to click OK. Let it do a little work. Now at this point we have two tabs open. We have the Design tab and the Start Page tab. If you want, you can close the Start Page tab. Notice I clicked on it first and then I closed it. You can, or you don't have to. One of the first things we are going to do is always rename the form. I'm going to right click on it and say rename, and I'll call it my form for now. Click over here and it says you are renaming a file. Would you also like to perform a rename in this project of all references to the code element form 1? And the answer to this is yes. So now everything is consistent. Make sure you're clicking yes. We're going to put a few items on here. I'm going to put a button. I'm going to name it BTN Exit. And I'm going to change the font size to something larger so you can see it. Notice that when I do this, I need to change the size because it's sized for a smaller font size. And I'm going to change the text property to exit. Click over here. That looks good. And then let's put a label here. Just click Label and then click inside the form. And I'm going to first name it LBL Greeting, and then in the text property I'm going to say Hello from Marcia. This is a variation of Hello World that is typically your first application. Again, I'm going to change the font size just so it's a little bigger. If you are having problems with your labels, one thing you might want to look at is the auto size. The default property is true, and I'm going to make it false, and then I will resize it. I clicked on the form so that the form is active. The form is named My Form because I named it My Form up here, so I have a name. I'm going to change the start position to the center of the screen, and the text property I'm going to write Marcia's first form. And notice in a second I'm going to press enter, and that text is going to go into the title bar as I press enter, 3, 2, 1, enter, and that text has gone here. Now I'm going to double click on the exit button to get the header and the footer, and I'm going to say this dot close left paren, right paren, semicolon. I'm now in the code view. Let me go back to design view. I think everything looks good. I'm going to save all using the multiple stack of floppies for save all. I'm going to compile it, build the solution, and then I'm going to run it. This doesn't do very much, but it is a full solution. The form shows up in the center of the screen. It says hello from Marcia. I click exit and we're done. That closes it. So if you've been able to follow these steps, you have created your first Visual Studio application.